OpenAI just quietly shipped what is probably one of the absolute most underrated updates in ChatGPT's entire history. And honestly, it completely shifts the paradigm of what this technology even is. For the last 2 years, we've basically treated it as just a text machine, right? But if you're still using it only to write emails, brainstorm ideas, or just generate these massive walls of text, you are literally leaving its most powerful capability completely untouched. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to look at exactly how ChatGPT has transformed from a simple text generator into a deeply powerful visual data analyst. We have a tightly packed, highly practical breakdown ahead for you, so let's get right into it.
60,000. That's the number I really want you to keep in your head today. Before this update, ChatGPT was incredible at generating information. If you asked it to compare 5 different tools, it gave you these dense, heavy paragraphs of text. But here's the thing. Human beings actually process visual information roughly 60,000 times faster than text. That isn't just some made-up statistic for a presentation, that is actual cognitive science. When you're staring at a wall of text, your brain has to work incredibly hard to parse the differences, identify the trends, and figure out the conclusions. So a clean visual chart, it isn't just a nice aesthetic bonus. It is fundamentally a better, much faster answer for your brain. It literally allows you to make complex decisions in a fraction of a second instead of a fraction of an hour.
Okay, let's dive into this old way versus the new way of working, because we've all been there. For years, we've spent our workdays bouncing between half a dozen different apps just to make sense of some simple data. You know the exact pain of this process. You spend 20 minutes hunting down numbers on Google. You drop that raw data into Excel or Google Sheets. You struggle to get the formatting right, and then you try to design something, anything, presentable in Canva before your big meeting. You've just wasted 45 minutes on pure friction. The new paradigm? That entire workflow just got compressed into one single ChatGPT conversation thread that takes under a minute. It is a massive, massive productivity shift.
Section 1. The core update breakdown. What actually changed?
So, the biggest shift here revolves around native capabilities. And the absolutely crucial word to focus on there is native. You no longer need those clunky third-party plugins or those annoying workarounds where you had to essentially beg the AI to write a Python script just to draw a basic line graph. None of that. ChatGPT can now natively analyze raw data, whether you're pasting in a spreadsheet or just roughly describing your numbers. It generates visual charts directly in the chat window. It takes completely unstructured info it finds on the web and turns it into clean visuals. And the best part? It actually explains the insights, telling you what the chart means in plain English. Oh, and beautifully, the whole shebang is fully available on both web and mobile, meaning you can literally run complex data analysis right from your phone.
Now, the crucial point we need to understand is that the real magic isn't just spitting out a single chart. It's about chaining 4 distinct steps together sequentially: research, analysis, charting, and insight. Traditionally, right, these 4 steps require completely different mindsets and usually completely different software tools. You'd research in a web browser, analyze in a spreadsheet, chart in a design app, and write your insights in a document. But now, it's an automated pipeline happening entirely inside a single conversation bubble. That is exactly where this incredible workflow compression happens, collapsing a really heavy multi-step process into a single, effortless prompt.
Let's move to Workflow 1, the research and visualization chain, and see how this builds.
I really want you to anchor this exact phrase in your mind right now. Compare, visualize, and explain. Let me say that again. Compare, visualize, and explain. This is your powerful new default prompt template whenever you want to generate visual research. We are totally moving past the days of just asking the AI to compare things. If you just say compare, well, you're going to get text. You have to be highly specific about the output format you want. By telling it to compare, visualize, and explain, this specific 3-part structure forces the system to actually do the heavy lifting for you. It mandates that the AI researches the landscape, builds the structural data points, renders a final visual layout, and then acts as your personal consultant to tell you what the result actually signifies. It's brilliant.
So imagine prompting ChatGPT to research the top AI video generation tools on the market today. Let's say you're comparing tools like Runway, Sora, and Synthesia. You ask it to evaluate them across speed, output quality, and ease of use. You don't just get a boring bulleted list of features anymore. No way. You instantly get a clean, highly readable visual comparison, perfectly plotted out in a bar chart, right alongside a written recommendation of which one is best for a beginner versus an advanced user. It researches the current data, it designs a visualization, and it advises you on your next steps, all without you ever opening a single spreadsheet or drawing a single axis.
Okay, moving on to Workflow 2, uploading your own data. Now, the steps for bringing your own context into the system are incredibly straightforward.
Step 1. You export the data you're already working with. Step 2. Upload that file right into ChatGPT. And Step 3. Prompt it to find key trends, identify outliers, and create some charts. But here is the absolute secret superpower of this update. You don't even need a perfectly formatted, pristine CSV file. Actually, you can quite literally take a screenshot of a messy, unformatted spreadsheet, upload that image into the chat window, and the AI will still be able to extract the numbers, clean them all up, and build you a flawless chart in seconds. It feels like magic.
To put that into perspective, picture a digital marketer. It's late on a Friday afternoon, and they urgently need to report on their campaign performance. They can just download their messy ad metrics across Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, upload the file, and instantly see a generated breakdown revealing that TikTok is eating up 50% of their budget while only driving 10% of the conversions. Boom, insight generated. Or think about a teacher with 30 different test scores. Instead of manually trying to figure out where the whole class struggled, they can upload the scores and immediately see a chart showing that 80% of the class completely failed question 4. The AI builds the visual, highlights the core problem, and allows you to instantly ask for a strategy to fix it. It fundamentally compresses your entire thinking process.
Section 4. The reality check, where ChatGPT still struggles.
Now look, we gotta be honest here. There are 3 main limitations right now that you need to be aware of. First, there is a very real data complexity ceiling. If you are an enterprise power user working with massive, live, multivariable data sets, you absolutely still need advanced tools like Power BI or Tableau. ChatGPT simplifies things for sure, but you do lose granular drill-down controls and live database connections. Second, there is minimal chart customization. If you need perfectly branded, publication-ready graphics with your company's exact fonts, hex codes, and logos, yeah, you're still going to need a dedicated design tool. ChatGPT gives you the thinking and the structure, just not the final corporate polish. And third, the accuracy heavily depends on your input quality.
And this brings us right to the absolute golden rule of data visualization: garbage in, garbage out. This is a really crucial warning because AI hallucinations are a real danger here. If your input data is super messy, say you upload a sheet that accidentally has duplicate rows, missing values, or totally inconsistent date formatting, ChatGPT is almost always still going to try to plot it. The system is just so eager to please you that it might literally count those duplicate rows twice. The result? A chart that looks beautiful, sounds incredibly confident, but is entirely mathematically wrong. So always sanity check the AI's output against your original source data before you present it to your team or make some major business decision.
And this brilliantly illustrates Section 5, changing how we think. When a single interface can do your research, your analysis, your visualization, and your strategic recommendations all simultaneously, it fundamentally eliminates the friction between having a question and understanding the answer. I mean, think about it. For students, the massive barrier of not knowing how to use complex charting software is just gone, allowing them to actually focus on the core concepts. For teachers, the huge time cost of building custom visual materials for every single lesson is shrinking incredibly fast. For marketers, the time cost of making raw metrics interpretable, it just dropped dramatically. The true value of this update isn't just the charts themselves, it's the sheer amount of time you save. Traditional tools aren't disappearing overnight, but ChatGPT is now absolutely your legitimate, powerful first stop for almost any analytical task.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a final provocative question. What workflow in your life, whether it's in school, at work, or maybe even your own personal creative projects, would this visual update change the most for you? Seriously, we want to hear exactly how you plan to use this to save time. So please drop a comment in the comment box below so we can keep this awesome conversation going. And if you found this explainer valuable and you want to keep staying ahead of how all these crazy AI tools actually work, please like, share, and subscribe to support more of these deep dives. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one.